The big hand for errors, laws for mistakes. Without them we wouldn't be here. Let's hear it for inexactitude, for imprecision, bravo. For fudging it, hip hip, 3 cheers. DNA of twisted double helix fame is an expert at that self-replication game. But once in a million times.
صلاة القيام يثابكم الله. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. ألف لام ميم ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه هدى للمتقين الذين يؤمنون بالغيب ويقيمون الصلاة ومما رزقناهم ينفقون والذين يؤمنون بما أنزل إليك وما أنزل من قبلك وبالآخرة هم يوقنون أولئك على هدى من ربهم وأولئك هم المفلحون. إن الذين كفروا سواء عليهم أأنذرتهم أم لم تنذرهم لا يؤمنون ختم الله على قلوبهم وعلى سمعهم وعلى أبصارهم غشاوة ولهم عذاب عظيم. ومن الناس من يقول آمنا بالله وباليوم الآخر وما هم بمؤمنين يخادعون الله والذين آمنوا وما يخدعون إلا أنفسهم وما يشعرون في قلوبهم مرض فزادهم الله مرضا ولهم عذاب أليم بما كانوا يكذبون. وإذا قيل لهم لا تفسدوا في الأرض قالوا إنما نحن مصلحون ألا إنهم هم المفسدون ولكن لا يشعرون. وإذا قيل لهم آمنوا كما آمن الناس قالوا أنؤمن كما آمن السفهاء ألا إنهم هم السفهاء ولكن لا يعلمون. وإذا لقوا الذين آمنوا قالوا آمنا وإذا خلوا إلى شياطينهم قالوا إنا معكم إنما نحن مستهزئون. الله يستهزئ بهم ويمدهم في طغيانهم يعمهون. أولئك الذين اشتروا الضلالة بالهدى فما ربحت تجارتهم وما كانوا مهتدين. مثلهم كمثل الذي استوقد نارا فلما أضاءت ما حوله ذهب الله بنورهم وتركهم في ظلمات لا يبصرون. صم بكم عمي فهم لا يرجعون. أو كصيب من السماء فيه ظلمات ورعد وبرق يجعلون أصابعهم في آذانهم من الصواعق حذر الموت والله محيط بالكافرين. يكاد البرق يخطف أبصارهم كلما أضاء لهم مشوا فيه وإذا أظلم عليهم قاموا ولو شاء الله بسمعهم وأبصارهم إن الله على كل شيء قدير. الله
أكبر.
سمع الله لمن حمده.
ربنا ولك الحمد.
الله أكبر.
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 الله.
Assalamu alaikum, Ramadan Mubarak. I'm Hasson, Rashid, your host for another episode of the History Community Life and Diversity of Muslim Americans in New England. It's excellent being here with you once again, and such a great achievement to come into your lives like we do here daily at CCTV. So with that, I greet you once again with the universal greeting of peace and love, and that is Assalamu alaikum. Okay, the opening video was a little insight on what transpires during the month of Ramadan. So what you were observing was the evening Tarawih prayers. That is Tarawih, that is glorification of Allah in the month of Ramadan, and that specific episode of Tarawih was the first night of Tarawih for the month of Ramadan. After iftar and after the fast is broken, the Muslims, they come together once again and they engage in what is known as Tarawih. In English, it's glorification of Allah in the month of Ramadan. And that's what you saw. They were at the holy city of Mecca in Arabia, and that was the first night of Tarawih prayers. So every night throughout the month of Ramadan, they do Tarawih. That's the glorification of Allah. So we're going to try to get back to that video, but once again, I'd like to send out my condolence to the late and great champ. That's Muhammad Ali, his family, relatives, friends, fans, etc., etc. Everybody who fell under the MOSAIC of Muhammad Ali, I send out my serious condolence and sympathies to you, your family, and your loved ones, etc. So, and also, I'd like to send out my condolence and deepest sympathies for the victims of the horrible shootings, catastrophe, if you want to call it, unnatural disaster that just transpired down in Orlando, Florida. That was the shooting of over 50 were killed, and at least the same number were injured or hospitalized. So once again, I start my condolence, and we have a few letters here specifically on that subject that I want to try to share with you. But once again, I'd like to also remind you that it is now summer. It's no longer spring, and the fact that was really phenomenal about this year's summer solstice. That's what's happened at this time of year. Every year when the sun reaches its high point in its travels through the universe, it's called the summer solstice. It's also called the changing of seasons from from spring to summer. And what was really phenomenal about this one was the fact that the new moon was visible during the change of season, and that moon is known as the strawberry moon. So we're going to try to tell you a little bit about the strawberry moon too. But first, I'd like to get into some letters from different Islamic organizations that sent out their sympathies and condolence to the victims and those who were actually killed, the families, their loved ones, etc., and the injured. So no one thinks that the Muslim community was behind these atrocities, okay, that occurred in Florida. So this is the U.S. Council of Muslim Organizations. It condemns the Orlando shooting. The U.S. Council of Muslim Organizations USCMO, the largest coalition of leading national and local Muslim organizations, expressed its horror over the mass shootings which took place at the nightclub in Orlando, Florida overnight, and offers its deepest and heartfelt condolence to the families of the victims and prays for quick recovery for those who were injured. These shootings were over 50 were killed, and at least the same number were injured. Is an affront to all minorities. You hear that again? It was an affront to all minorities. The USCMO stands firmly against all forms of violence committed against any group, regardless of religious affiliations, creed, color, or sexual orientation. We condemn such heinous acts by individuals or groups who have no regards for the sanctity of human life, said Osama Jamal, the Secretary General of the USCMO. The right to live free from violence, harassment, or intimidation is the most basic human right and must be defended unconditionally. The USCMO urges Muslim community in Orlando to step up to donate blood and to reach out to the injured and to the families of the victims. Okay, so that was a short letter from that's a long name. That's the U.S. Council of Muslims Organizations, and that was their condemnation of this recent killings. I don't know if whatever. There's a lot of names. People call it a slaughter, massacre, but whatever it was, they condemned it. Okay. Khan, Islam condemns killing of innocents, okay? Remember, the Islamic Center of Boston, Wayland, stands together in solidarity with our fellow citizens of these United States of America and with people conscious everywhere in the world, and unequivocally condemns the senseless violence that occurred in an Orlando, Florida nightclub, okay? This cold-blooded slaughter of innocent people ought to be unreservedly recognized and condemned as a heinous and vile act of hatred and bigotry. Such actions violate those very fundamentals and basic values which have historically been shared by all decent people of every creed and color at all times, in every place on the surface of the earth. As followers of the Islamic faith, with categories rejects the taking of innocent lives, repudiate this barbarism in the strongest possible term, and asks that this case be thoroughly investigated. Anyone who may have facilitated in the commissioning of this crime in any way be dealt with the full force of law and authority and be brought to justice. As members of the American Muslim community in the greater Boston area, we offer our sincerest condolence to those whose loved ones were killed or injured in this tragedy. May Allah, the same God as the God of Jesus, Moses, Abraham, grant them patience and courage to deal with this calamity. And that was from Dr. Malik Khan, president of Islamic Center of Boston in Wayland. That's a local mosque that's located in Eastern Mass. There's several others that I'd like to get to you, share with you, but I'm telling you, we're running out of time here, and there's a few other things I'd like to share with you. Okay, June, full strawberry moon. That's what you saw the last night. You may get a glimpse of this moon tonight before it's start waning into the last quarters of the month, which will. The crescent will be visible, I think, on the 23rd. It was the 22nd today. But the crescent will be visible on the 23rd, and that is the symbol of Islam. That's the symbol of freedom, justice, and equality in Islam. So that's a very important sign. But the other night, summer solstice came in effect. The moon that was visible was known as a strawberry moon. And that moon hasn't been, this particular phenomenon hasn't occurred in 25 years. That was the last time that this particular phenomenon occurred in the skies. And we're all concerned about the skies. We're sky watchers. But that was the summer solstice and the full moon on the same day, okay? In the same period of time. So that was quite an event, okay? And I'd like to share some videos with you on that too, so you can get a deeper understanding of what happens, without the moon and the sun, we wouldn't know life as it is today, as we know life. So they're very instrumental in the life that we take, from the air that we breathe, the water that we drink, and everything else that we do. It has, the moon has something to do with it. So here's something on that. Okay, for you. Okay.
Daylight time, not long before sunrise on Monday, June 4th, the moon passes directly behind our planet. A broad stretch of lunar terrain around the southern crater Tycho will fall into the shadow upward, producing a maximum is around 4:04 a.m. Pacific, 37% of the moon's surface. Because of the attraction of the strawberry moon's shadow, astronomers call this a eclipse, but perfect timing for the moon illusion. For reasons not fully understood by astronomers or psychologists, low-hanging moons look unnaturally large when the beam spectrum. Buildings and other foreground objects. In fact, low moons are no wider than any other moon. Cameras prove it. The human brain is hanging low in the west of favorite region. They seem extra large to U.S. observers east of the Mississippi. Before dawn on June 4th, and behold the eclipse of the strawberry moon. For more information about eclipses and other wonders of the night sky, please visit science.nasa.gov.
Farmer's Almanac. This moon is known as the full strawberry moon. Although most tribes view this moon as the time to gather ripening strawberries. In places where strawberries aren't native, this moon
If
is
you've
also
ever
known
had
as
this
the rose
feeling
moon and
that
the hot
something
moon.
was terribly wrong with the world that
Terms
we live
waxing and
in, but you
waning are
couldn't
used
figure out
often
just
to
what it
describe
was,
the moon's phase
then
and
you've
place
come to
in
the
lunar
right
month.
place.
But what do these terms mean?
Secret societies, mystery
Waxing means the
religions,
moon is-
and the Illuminati have been controlling our reality since the beginning of time. But not anymore, because there is an awakening happening, and you are
you the Old Farmer's Almanac. June's moon is known as the full strawberry moon. Algonquin tribes knew this moon as the time to gather ripening strawberries. In places where strawberries aren't native, this moon was also known as the rose moon and the hot moon. The terms waxing and waning are used often to describe the moon's phase and place in the lunar month. But what do these terms mean? Waxing means the moon is on its way to being full. Waning means the moon is on its way to being new. The term gibbous refers to the shape you can see when the lighted surface of the moon is bigger than a crescent shape. The moon moves in these phases: new moon, waxing crescent, first quarter moon, waxing gibbous, full moon, waning gibbous, last quarter moon, waning crescent, and back to the new moon. Now that we know the terms, here's a bit of weather lore. During the first 3 days in the change of the moon, from the wax to the wane, we will get no rain. If this is true, you'll be enjoying beautiful June weather just after the full strawberry moon. For more on everything about the moon, including your moon phase calendar, visit us at almanac.com.
Okay, that was a little insight into what this particular period in time is all about. The summer solstice and the strawberry moon appearing on the same occasions, if you want to say that, okay? So that's something that hasn't happened in 25 years. You know, coming up is the public hearing on the Community Preservation Act. I want to slip that in here for a minute. I want you, because it's very important that you be at this meeting. That's come to a public hearing on Community Preservation Act. You're invited to a public hearing regarding the allocation of fiscal year 1600 Community Preservation Act CPA funds. CPA funds may be used for affordable housing, historic preservation, and open space. At this hearing, the CPA committee will accept public testimony on how the CPA funding should be allocated for housing, open space, and historical preservation for fiscal year 1600. The CPA committee will make its funding recommendation early in September. So you remember this: Tuesday, August 25th, 2015, 6 p.m., Summerlin Chamber, City Hall, 795 Massachusetts. That's the public hearing on community preservation. Okay, there's another little thing. This is about Ramadan. There's a book out now. It's everybody needs to buy this book. And this book is at the Curious George bookstore. That's on Harvard Square. And it's about Ramadan. So it's a children's book on Ramadan. It's at the Curious George store. So it's Ramadan, Curious George, okay? So I just wanted to throw that in there. And don't forget now, the 27th Annual Muslim Convention is coming up. That's going to be held over in Chicago, like it's done every year, and that's around Labor Day. So we have plenty more time to go into the details of that in future episodes of the History of Community Life and Diversity of Muslim Americans in New England. I'd like to tell you, though, this is a CHAPA. That's the Citizen Housing and Planning Association over in Boston, and they handle a lot of the public housing and Section 8 low-income housing advocacy issues at the State House, et cetera, et cetera. So I just wanted to know that the president, Mrs. Brenda Clement, she's going back to Rhode Island. That's where she's from. She's been with CHAPA for about 5 years, so she's retiring, and someone else is going to take her place. So as soon as we have that information, we'll update you on it. But I just want to throw that in. Brenda Clement is retiring from CHAPA, okay? And one more thing, the celebration of Iftar at the City Hall, that's coming up. The Councilman Nadeem Mazen has arranged for Iftar at City Hall. That's coming up. It's Tuesday, June 28th at 7 p.m. So they're going to be right on the steps of the City Hall, and they're going to be serving Iftar right after, I don't know if they're going to offer prayers, Maghrib prayers there, but it's break your fast at the City Hall. This is a free event, and all are welcome to sit at the iftar table. Please arrive at 7 p.m. on the steps of City Hall on June 28th. Iftar is the first meal of the day following the last fast during Ramadan. I am Hasson Rashid. You know, it's always excellent being here with you, and it's such a great achievement to come into your lives like we do every day here at CCTV. So remember, superior wisdom can never be subjected by inferior wisdom. And don't forget now, Bishop Allen in Norfolk, the City Market is in full swing now. You can pick up all types of produce in season at the Cambridge City Market, so don't forget to get on over there, eh? So we're gonna leave you with the Travi, okay? First Travi of Ramadan. Assalamu alaikum.
الله أكبر.
الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. يا أيها الناس اعبدوا ربكم الذي خلقكم والذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون الذي جعل لكم الأرض فراشا والسماء بناء وأنزل من السماء ماء فأخرج به من الثمرات رزقا لكم فلا تجعلوا لله أندادا